Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Tar, starring Cate Blanchett as a very accomplished and dedicated composer, musician, and conductor that it's hard to describe. It's kind of about I think, the artistic process, but it's also about her ego kind of screwing it up, I guess. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 9. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So this is a fictional character. It was so detailed, I thought, oh, is this a real person? So I had to look it up. It is not. So she is like, one of the first leader of the German Philharmonic, and, a very accomplished musician and composer and conductor. And I think it's kind of about the creative process, but it's also true how I guess success kind of traps you as an artist, and how, like, I guess her intense dedication kind of starts to, I guess, mess her up. Because there's one synopsis that says she's hoisted by her own petard. So that indicates to me that at the end of this, it's sort of not a good ending for the character, but it looks very intense. And it's about the world of classical music. From writer-director Todd Field. Looks like he did a ton of research here. I mean, this to me is an Oscar material. October 7th. This will probably be in art house theaters. Because it seems to be an incredibly detailed portrait of a character and what she's going through. I mean, there's lots of layers here. And it's just from the trailer. You can see her family life. She's gay, and I think she has a wife and possibly a daughter. She's being interviewed, and she's the conductor, and there's a lot of tension there, a lot of pressure being the conductor. I'm not sure if she is, if we see her become the conductor, or she already is when the movie starts. It seems like she already is. But she's definitely some sort of genius, but her genius is, there's a line in the movie, she may be collapsing into herself, which is something you can imagine for great artists. So it's kind of a portrait of a great artist, I think, but also true, how it can kind of mess you up and feel isolating, I should say. So, yeah, I find it very interesting. And I'm always impressed by a movie like this, because you would have to know a lot about classical music to make the damn thing. I mean, it would have to be in your wheelhouse to really understand it, and there's a lot to understand there. The orchestra. I mean, there's a lot of personalities there. There's a lot of egos there. There's a lot of talent there. It's kind of interesting that, there's a lot of people who just aren't interested in classical music, right? It's not really a factor in their lives, yet it is kind of important, and sort of indirectly it is a factor in that it influences music still, but it's not very current, I guess you'd say. So I don't know a hell of a lot about it, and I'm wondering how true it is to the actual world. It feels very genuine in this trailer. It feels very intense, feels genuine, feels very grounded. I like the layering here, and Cate Blanchett seems to be acting the hell out of this movie, so I would totally see it. Yeah, and this is definitely an art house movie. This is not going to be, I don't think, in mainstream theaters. I don't think it could do a tremendous amount. Oh, Mark Strong's in it too. Um, Here's the synopsis here. The life of a renowned musician and composer, Lydia Tarr, as she records the symphony that will take her formidable career to new heights. But will that pressure break her? Or embarrass her in some way? You know, when you say hoisted by your own petard, it's kind of a little bit of an embarrassment in there too, right? You know, it feels to me like this would be a screenplay. I don't know. It would take me a few years to write write it. I'm going to have to do a ton of research because I don't know much about it. But it feels like there's a lot of depth here. It's not getting too good of a response here. I mean, there's been 7,000 views or more, 286 upvotes, and 129 downvotes. Although maybe a lot of you can't see that unless you have the plug-in I have. But, you know, I think for the YouTube crowd, they probably wouldn't be interested in classical music. And then it looks like they're going to have a soundtrack, which I guess is going to be original music. So that's very interesting, too. I mean, I like a lot of classical music, you know, to have it on in the background when I'm working sometimes. So it would be interesting to hear new classical music. Yeah, very interesting. First act, she's in this position. There's a lot to do. She has this life outside of that, but, you know, it's probably secondary to her fabulous career. And she's working on this new composition. And I think part of it, according to the trailer, is she's hearing things and the noise is bothering her. So it's like her focus is being disrupted by these other sounds. And which is another thing I can understand too. I mean, in a different way. You know, as a writer, you sit around and you're thinking, and then you see me do videos here where I'm constantly getting dinged on my phone, and I'm just like, what the hell, man? And I'm trying to keep my concentration, and Joan's barking. It's sort of like that, I think. And yeah, I mean, I can kind of relate to it, and so it's about her struggle in the second act doing this thing. And when you do something that's artistic and you really put yourself in there, it can be very intense process, and one that, you know, you still got life going on around you. You still have responsibilities and things to do. So it sucks when you keep getting interrupted. You know, I talked the other day about if I had an opportunity to write a ton of screenplays and I had to put the books on the back burner, I would, but I wouldn't want to. It would be, yeah, that would be infuriating towards me, but I do it, you know. I'd probably try to burn the candle at both ends and do both. But, and then the third act, something about she being hoisted by her own petard. I think she does the great work she sets out to do, but it costs her, right? It costs her. Probably in her relationship, that seems to be an important part of the film. And then it cost her maybe mentally. You know, now she's in this, you know, she was already in a good place, but now she's been elevated to an even higher place. And maybe that elevation is now going to be a new challenge that she's not totally ready for. And it's sort of like, be careful what you wish for. So maybe she wanted to break through with classical music into the mainstream, and she does, but, you know, that kind of disrupts things. And that's part of the problem with fame. It's like, you know, I talk about actors. They, you know, a guy like Hugh Jackman, who's famous for Wolverine, but he's not really. He's not like he set out to be an action guy or a Wolverine guy. He set out to be more of a classic actor, Broadway musical guy, and he's not known for that. I mean, he is, but he isn't. He's more known for Wolverine, right? So the average person seeing him is going to be like, "Oh, do Wolverine claws," but he wants to break out in song. So it may be a little bit like that, right? She has this big breakthrough, but now all people want is just the hot thing. It's like when you're you're in a band or you're a singer and you get a hit song, and then it's just like, oh no, do the old stuff, do the songs we know, you know. So yeah, I'm giving it an upvote. I think it could be very good. I mean, it might be too self-indulgent if I had to nitpick, but I mean, it's about people being self-indulgent, with their egos, I think, with their art, maybe. Kind of hard to tell totally from the trailer, but I think there's a lot here. I think even if the movie's bad, I think there'll be a lot here to sort of process and watch. So yeah, Tar. Yeah, I think it'll be good. And that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more bass takes. We got a Hollywoke hot take in which my allergies slam me. I think my allergy medicine finally started working. And a news blast. And we'll see you in the next one.